Hello everyone and welcome to another video where today we will install the Zoom HB876E 2-pin, 3-pin, 4-piston e-bike electric power off hydraulic brake set. This set also comes with 180mm rotors. It is pre-bled in both the brake lever and the caliper and includes all the mounting adapters. The first step we're going to take is to remove the cap nut on the brake lever. Now again, you got to remember that these are already pre-bled, but I went ahead and just topped it off just a little bit and then squeezed the brake lever a couple times just to make sure all the air bubbles were out of the brake lever. And next you're going to take the caliper assembly with the hydraulic line, is also pre-bled. And you're going to remove the cap nut on it. Then you're going to install the cover, the lock nut, and then the olive. Then you want to insert it into the brake lever. You want to give it a firm little push and then very lightly start the lock nut because you don't want to cross thread it. And once you get it started, then you can go ahead and lock it down and then put the cover on. Now we're going to remove the old caliper and the brake lever. Notice that when I remove it, it all stays intact, and this is the same way you'll install the new system. All right, now we're going to start installing the new system. So we're going to kind of unwind the hydraulic cable and figure out the routing. Once you get the caliper mounted, it is important to leave it a little bit loose. This is going to be important for the adjustment setup, and you'll see that here in just a moment. Now we're going to figure out our cable routing, try to unwind the coil that's in the cable. So I'm just kind of unspinning everything before I get it all attached. We're going to go ahead and mount the brake lever. After we get the cable routing all figured out, we want to go ahead and start putting all our clips. In some cases, I had to put zip ties in on the hydraulic line. Now we can go ahead and adjust the rear caliper. Now, you remember I left it loose, and this is important during the setup because what you want to do is you want to squeeze your brakes. And you want to give the caliper a slight wiggle just to make sure that it's all loose, and it's got plenty of play in it to where it'll actually self-center and self-adjust. And this is all while you're holding the brake. Now that you've got it centered, you want to go ahead and lightly lock down all the nuts, and then we'll give it a few spins and rotate and squeeze the brake just to make sure that we don't hear any rubbing and that it stays self-centered. All right, for the final phase here of the caliper installation, now that we've got it self-centered, we can go ahead and lock it down and give it the final torque. After you torque it down, give it a few more spins, just make sure that it's self-centering, you don't hear any rubbing, and everything is working properly and functioning. Now, of course, you want to repeat this entire process for the front brake. It is the same as what you did for the rear, so you want to install everything and then torque it all down and center. Okay, so now the last part of this installation process is to ensure that the electronic input works to the display for the e-bike. Now remember, the important part of this here is that you want some sort of signal to indicate that you're squeezing the brake so that the motor will shut off. Now, when you're connecting these connectors, there are two arrows. You just want to make sure that those are aligned, and that will help make sure that you don't bend any pins while you're trying to make these connections. And then the last part is we will turn on the display, and then we will squeeze the brake handle several times and just look for the indicator that signals that brake input is actually coming into the display, which will shut off the motor